We have to determine what movie we're watching for the podcast.
All right.
What are the three options? One of them's Poltergeist.
One of them is...
You want to keep it Little Shop of Horrors?
Yeah.
I said Labyrinth for the third one. Do you want to say something different?
I don't know what it is, so I'm good with it.
I think you'd like it. David Bowie's in it. It's got puppets. It's cool. All right, so you asked the question of the first movie, which is Poltergeist. Okay. If it definitively says yes, then that's what we're watching.
All right. Are we watching Poltergeist? Without a doubt.
Okay, we don't even need to do the rest of them.
You are listening to The Perfect 10.
This month, we watched Poltergeist.
Crossover, children! All are welcome!
How many disturbances have you recorded in the room?
They're here.
Poltergeist is a 1982 American supernatural horror film directed by Tobe Hooper, maybe, and written by Steven Spielberg, Michael Grais, and Mark Victor, from a story by Spielberg.
A family's home becomes the center of paranormal activity that opens a doorway to the other side. With help, they must cross over to get their daughter back.
It stars JoBeth Williams, Craig T. Nelson, and Beatrice Straight, and was produced by Steven Spielberg and Frank Marshall. Released by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer through MGM United Artists Entertainment on June 4th, 1982. Poltergeist was a major critical and commercial success, becoming the 8th highest grossing film of 1982.
In the years since its release, the film has been recognized as a horror classic. It was nominated for 3 Academy Awards, named by the Chicago Film Critics Association as the 20th scariest film ever made. Poltergeist also appeared at number 84 on the American Film Institute's 100 Years, 100 Thrills.
The film was followed by Poltergeist 2: The Other Side in 1986 and Poltergeist 3 in 1988, and a 2015 remake, but none of them had the critical success of the original. Kit, let's talk about Poltergeist.
All right.
First of all, what is a poltergeist?
From the movie, a poltergeist is ghosts that come in from the other side who haven't gone through the light yet, and the light is basically like heaven.
Yeah, whatever you believe.
Yeah. So it's ghosts that haven't gone through the light, and they are in your house. They can haunt you, but hauntings are for years, while poltergeists are only for a few months.
Yeah, they can end within a few months. So the very quick definition, not necessarily a movie definition, a poltergeist is a type of paranormal phenomenon characterized by loud noises, disruptive energy, and mischievous behavior attributed to a spirit or entity. The term poltergeist is a German word meaning noisy ghost. Yeah, so they make a big distinction within the film whether it's a haunting or a poltergeist. And it actually adds a little bit of weight to this movie since, jumping ahead a bit, since Carol Ann is essentially abducted by the poltergeist. If they don't get her back, the fear is she could be gone forever.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area, a house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of a fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Are you telling me that all of this could just suddenly end at any time?
Yes, it could.
Then we don't have much time, Dr. Lush, because my daughter is alive somewhere inside this house.
I know you like to talk about all the actors.
Yes. The first thing here, it's not the main character, but it's understandable because the movie's kind of about her. Carol Ann Freeling.
They're here.
Yeah, so Carol Ann, played by Heather O'Rourke.
Yeah.
So we'll get into this a little bit as we go further in, but I will tell you, when Heather O'Rourke made this movie, do you remember how old she's supposed to be?
They say his son is 7. I think she's meant to be 5.
Yeah, she's supposed to be 5. I think she herself was 7 when they made the film. She was born in 1975, which is the same year I was born. The thing with Heather O'Rourke, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later, is she died very, very young. She died while they were making the third movie. So she died in 1988. She died at 12 years old, which is incredibly sad.
How?
They thought she had Crohn's disease, which is a digestive disease. But it turned out she actually had I believe, a congenital heart defect that they did not know. And she had a cardiac arrest in 1988, was taken to the hospital and was in surgery when she passed away. So no matter how you cut it, when a kid dies, it's a horrible, horrible thing. So it's a weird thing watching this movie. We didn't want to tell you this during the movie at all because it makes it weirder, because the whole movie is about crossing
Her
over and
almost
death.
dying.
Yeah. So because Heather O'Rourke was so young when she passed away, she doesn't have a ton of credits to her name. But one of the roles I remember her playing was in the very late seasons, might have even been the last season of Happy Days. She was the daughter of the Fonz's girlfriend, and they had a really good relationship, and it was very cute. So that was only about a year after that she did that. I will tell you, Heather O'Rourke obviously was cast in this role. There was another actor up for this role named Drew Barrymore, who ended up playing Gertie in E.T. that was being filmed almost at the exact same time, which we will also talk about in a little bit.
Next is the one and only Tangina Barons.
Don't mind hanging back. You're jamming my frequencies.
Yeah, Zelda Rubinstein. She's awesome. She comes into the movie so late, and she's such an awesome character.
Now let's go get your daughter.
She filmed for 6 days. That's it. That's all she was on set for.
All right. Next is Steve Freeling.
Dr. Lush, we don't care about the disturbances. The pounding and the flash. The screaming. The music. I just want you to find our little girl.
Honestly, I feel like he was a typical husband in the 1980s.
Okay.
But he sucked.
You thought he sucked?
Yeah.
I love him. First of all,
he always second guessed the women's choices.
So, what side of the rainbow are we working tonight, Dr. Lush?
I don't want to second guess yours. And I love that that's your opinion. And I think I should honor it and shut up now. But I actually thought, watching it, wow, he's much more progressive than I remember. And I feel like he is way more open to what his wife wants. And he does second guess Tangina when she comes in. But I think he's almost at his wit's end.
What is the matter?
What's the matter? I was trying to answer her with my mind, and she couldn't hear me. No, I thought you said this Tangina Barons was an extraordinary clairvoyant.
I just don't like trick answers.
This is what he was doing. Based on the times he did it, it was only to the women when he said, no, I should do it.
Yes, you're right.
Yes, that was kind of like sacrificing himself, but he kept doing it only for the women.
Well, he would do it for his wife. But you're right. You are definitely right. When Diane is going to go into the closet, he says, I should do it. And yeah, you're not wrong. I don't disagree. And maybe it's, for the time, kind of chauvinistic, because it's almost like that macho bravo. But it was like, if something happens, I don't want it to happen to you. I would rather it happen to me. If someone's going to die, it should be me. But she even says, Diane says, we need someone strong enough to hold the rope. Mm-hmm. To which she says, don't let go of the rope. It was very Titanic.
I'll never let go. I promise.
So she says, don't let go of the rope. And what does he do?
Let go.
He lets go of the goddamn rope. Come on, guys. Oh, man. I mean, there was a big, monster that came out of the closet and scared him, and he lets go of the rope. But still, it's like, bro.
Yeah, also, listen to freaking Tangina, because she was like, no, Steve, don't pull the rope out that
Don't pull
far.
too early. So there is a theory. Yeah, there's a theory online when Tangina says her infamous line, this house is clean.
This house is clean.
And people are like, well, it's not clean.
Not anymore.
Because he didn't listen and he pulled the rope. Yeah, that's a theory online that she was right. He was wrong to pull the rope. I don't disagree with that. I actually think that's a really good theory.
Yeah.
I liked him. He's also Mr. Incredible. So cut Robert Parr some slack.
Don't just stand there. I need you to intervene.
You want me to intervene? Okay, I'm intervening. I'm intervening.
Yeah, I don't like Steve Freeling. I like...
Craig T. Nelson?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Next is Diane Freeling.
Run to the light, Caroline. Run as fast as you can.
JoBeth Williams. So good. I mean, she really is the movie. Like, she's so damn good in this movie. She's a BA.
Would anyone like some coffee?
Oh, that'd be nice.
How would you like it? In a cup, fool.
We see that a lot. They have a poster up in Robbie's bedroom of Alien. She reminds me a little bit Ripley, but yeah, man. JoBeth Williams is a badass.
Next is Dana Freeling.
Oh, yeah, what do you know about it?
More than you.
I liked in general, like, yeah.
Yeah, I thought Dana Freeling was great. I'll tell you a little bit about her, and this is also sad. She died very young as well. We're going to get into something in a little bit. There is this belief that there was a curse surrounding this movie. I think that is bullcrap and stupid. But Dominique Dunn, who played Dana Freeling, was murdered by her ex-boyfriend. I think it's kind of a insincere thing to label something a curse when you had one actor who had an ailment that kind of went unchecked because they misdiagnosed her.
If it was like the same things over and over,
Right.
that might have been a curse. But
Right.
then it was just someone's decision.
And some other people that actually aren't even in this movie, they're in sequels, who died. They were sick. They died of old age. One of them had cancer and knew he had cancer when he was making the movie. So it's like, that's, again, very disingenuous to say those things. But again, Dominique Dunn, that is violence against a woman. And to just say, there's a curse around this movie is stupid. And I think it kind of, I don't want to say it forgives that, but I think it mitigates it in a way that it absolutely shouldn't. It means minimize or mitigate, whichever you prefer. Take out your thesaurus, whichever one you'd like.
Okay.
We can say minimize. But I think there are more important stories to be told than bored people making up crap online. And this is old. This is not a new thing. This has been, the curse of Poltergeist has been around for a very, very, very long time. This is a very cool little tidbit, because even watching it, Mommy said, oh, that's interesting. When... I almost said Robert Parr.
No kicks!
When Steven Freeling is telling a character who you're going to get to in a minute, Dr. Lesh, about his family, he mentions his wife is 32 years old, and he mentions that Dana is 16. And when you do the math, it would mean that at 16, Diane would have had a kid, which is... not uncommon, but also it's like, wow, that's very revealing.
Yeah.
However, and I thought this was so cool because Mommy said that to us when we were watching. It just kind of went over my head, but Mommy said, that means she was 16 when she had Dana. Online, they talk about this, and apparently in the novelization, do you know what a novelization is?
Kind of. I know what a novel is.
Well,
like
what's a novel?
Graphic novel.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what it is. I just hear it a lot.
What's behind you on those shelves?
Books.
Yeah. It's a book. So a novelization is... So last month we talked about Jaws, right?
Yeah.
Jaws was a book that was written by Peter Benchley and turned into a movie. Sometimes a movie is an original piece and then they turn it into a book. It's all about selling more, man. You got to sell more content. So there was a novelization of this where they wrote a novel after the movie and it concentrated on things that the movie doesn't necessarily concentrate on. One of the components it talks about that is not in the script is that Diane is not Steve's first wife. And Dana is actually Diane's stepdaughter. So Steve's a little bit older than Diane. And he even says when he's talking about the ages of our kids, meaning Robbie and Carol Ann, and then he says, my daughter, Dana. He doesn't say our. Even if she's a stepdaughter, she would be her daughter. But I just thought it was really interesting because it's like this element in the film that might even go into what happened to Steven's first wife. Did another house eat her up? Like, we don't... Maybe that's why he wanted to be the one to go in the closet. I already lost one wife this way. Probably divorced, let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Next is Ben Tuthill, who sucks.
My kids want to watch Mr. Right. No, see, I don't care what you're watching, Ben. Just show a little mercy with that thing.
Yeah, he's the neighbor.
I don't know.
Michael McManus, that's who plays Ben.
Yeah.
Tuthill. He's been in lots of stuff. Hot Shots Part 2, which is a great movie. Police Academy 4. We should do a Police Academy movie. He does a lot of comedy, but he is the next door neighbor. I actually liked him. He was annoying, but I loved the whole exchange where at the beginning of the movie, they're trying to watch a football game, and he's got the same remote control. These are problems that don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And he keeps turning on Mr. Rogers for his kids, but we see inside his house later, and his kid is like older than, he's not as old as Dana, and that kid's watching Mr. Rogers, which, hey, I'm not knocking that. Mr. Rogers rocks, but I don't think that kid was watching Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. I feel like he was watching.
You think so? I think Ben was watching Mr. Rogers too.
Yeah.
Please won't you be my neighbor?
Next is felt like he would be up before Ben Tuthill, but Robbie Freeling.
1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000.
Oliver Robbins has done a lot of film. He's got 4 movies coming out in the next year. All horror films, so he is definitely embracing the genre. He was great. I liked him. When the storm is coming in and he's counting seconds between thunder and lightning, or lightning and thunder, I guess I should say, since that's the order. That's something that I learned from that movie and still do to this day. And Mommy was even saying the 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000.
Wow.
The tree outside the window is creepy as hell.
That is how I feel about when I used to seal your spot in your bed. There's this one tree that is so horrifying. Honestly, I'm still kind of scared of it.
Do we still have it, or did it fall? Because we've had trees fall.
We still have it. So the funny thing is, you can only see it from when you're up.
Oh, up on the second floor.
Yeah, from your room. Real quick, if you look behind you, you see the tree that kind of looks like a cactus with the piece hanging off.
Way out there?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. I know which tree you mean. Yeah.
You can see it from your room, and it is horrifying.
Yeah.
Because, bro, when I used to, chill up there, it was so scary.
Yeah.
Because, especially when I was alone, because it looked like a guy trying to grab you.
Yeah, well, trees naturally, because of their limbs. I mean, we have limbs, right?
Yeah.
That's what we call arms and legs.
That's why it looks like a guy trying to grab you.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, it goes all the way back to Wizard of Oz with the trees that throw their own apples. And you've got Groot. Groot may not be that scary, but
I love Groot.
It's because you are Groot.
I am Groot.
But the trees in Lord of the Rings, it's a very anthropomorphic thing, trees. So yeah, they can be very, very scary. That tree was particularly scary. And it had It
really had no leaves.
It was dead. Or if it wasn't dead, you're right. It had no leaves on it, and it wasn't the time of year. Although, you know what? It was, because when the movie opens, we see.
The spring.
It was in the spring?
It was, because they're building the pool for the summer.
Yeah, but football's on. And that was a Monday night game in 1980. I forget the exact date. So football tends to happen. So they were building a pool, but it's California too. So
yeah, it might have actually been fall because they were still going to school.
You're right. Yeah, because she was missing school. Carol Ann was missing school, and they said she had the flu. Yeah. So it could have been the fall. When it starts, you see another tree that's on the hill that you later realize is by the cemetery, and it's a very similar looking tree. Also no leaves. Also incredibly creepy.
Next is Mr. Teague.
We've already made arrangements for relocating the cemetery.
Yeah, Mr. Teague is his
Played
boss.
By James Karen. Yeah. That guy sucks.
He does suck. And when he showed up, Mommy even said, "Is that the mayor from Jaws?" And it's not Mayor Vaughn, but it's such a similar character.
Yeah.
He's the guy who is clueless. You know, the piano moves in the house and he doesn't see it. The light gets incredibly bright and he goes, "What do you have, a 300-watt bulb in there?" He's just clueless. Bad person. And we find out later that he's the one who had the cemeteries, just the headstones moved, not the bodies. So real disrespectful.
Mr. Teague, the actor James Karen, I love that last name, which
Karen
really isn't a last name, but it's his.
Yeah, it's his last name.
Next is Dr. Lesh.
Would your family welcome a serious investigation of these disturbances?
Yeah, she was awesome. This is Beatrice Straight. She's great in it. And there was a point where I was even going to say early on, I was going to say I kind of think this would be a good male character because nobody's really listening. And then she very quickly listens and even tells one of the other ghost hunters who says there might be a CB radio hidden in the house. And she says, no, I believe them. And I was like, oh, I like this. And then she forms a bond with Diane very quickly. Yeah. And it's why there's a moment where she kind of goes in to hug or say goodbye to Diane when she's about to go in the closet because they've formed this friendship. And I thought it was so cool. And then that's when Tangina goes... Tangina, goes, we don't have time, go. And then she leaves, so... But she might lose her friend. It's a sad moment.
Yeah. Next is Mrs. Tuthill, but I didn't think we saw her.
Towards the end of the movie, when Diane has gone in the pool and she's covered and Steve is out at work, she runs next door and gets Mr. and Mrs. Tuthill. They come over. But then they don't go into the house. They don't really do any help whatsoever.
Okay. Well, next is Pugsley.
Okay, this is an important one to talk about. Lou Perryman. Yeah. Also, Lou Perry plays Pugsley. So Pugsley is the guy who, or at least some people say it is, because she doesn't use the name Pugsley. There's a guy working on the crew putting the pool in.
Right.
And he's drinking coffee through the window, and then he reaches in and tests their sauce. And she says to him, can I have my cup back? And she calls him, I think, Bluto, if I'm not mistaken.
How is it?
Great, Miss Freeling.
Okay, Bluto, give me my cup.
You sure make good coffee.
That's Lou Perryman. Lou Perryman was also murdered. Yeah. In 2009, long after the quote-unquote pulsations, speaking of Poltergeist, long after a Poltergeist theory about the film being cursed had happened. I don't know the details of it other than, which is horrible, he was killed with an axe. I don't know if it was an argument. I don't think it was an axe murderer because I'm not really sure that outside of horror.
Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, Tobe Hooper just said, hey, listen, you sons of bitches. I don't like the idea of people giving Spielberg credit for directing this movie. Yeah, Tobe Hooper is also now dead. That's not really part of the curse. He died in 2017, and people are just ultimately going to die. That's how life works.
Yeah. Next is my second favorite character.
Okay.
Jeff Shaw, also known as Dirk Blocker.
Okay, let's get it. Your second favorite.
Yes. Number one is obvious.
Yeah, we haven't said them yet, right?
Correct.
I know who it is then. Oh, maybe I know who it is. Oh, no, we did say Tangina. We've already said, so it's not her.
No, it is number one.
Oh, it is? Okay.
I thought you meant have we said our favorite characters yet?
Okay. I thought maybe E-Buzz was your favorite character.
No, I love E-Buzz.
I know you did. As soon as you saw the dog, you said, that dog doesn't die, right?
What's the matter, E-Buzz?
I swear, every horror movie, they have to start it off this is how they die.
Yeah.
So here's a dead dog.
That was Tippett in Jaws, right?
Yes. In Stranger Things Foreshadow.
Oh, yeah. The
dog in the shop.
Spoilers. Yeah, so Dirk Blocker plays Jeff Shaw. We know from a little TV show called
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, that was awesome seeing Dirk Blocker.
Did you know he was in it?
I forgot. I totally forgot. And then when we're watching the credits, I froze it on his name until you noticed it. And then Mommy goes, who is Dirk Blocker? I know that name. And your head turned to the TV so fast. And you're like, what? That was great.
Number one show.
Oh, dude, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is the best.
Yeah.
Dirk Blocker's character could easily be Hitchcock in this movie.
Yes.
Riding the bike with all the beers under his arm.
Yeah, so the funny thing is, there's actually two young Hitchcocks.
That's right.
There's one young Hitchcock, which is a little man.
You're talking about the real Dirk Blocker?
Yeah, and just riding the bike with some beer cans.
Yep. And then the other one's by an actor named Wyatt Nash.
And he is purposely meant to be fine.
Yeah, he's fine. I'll give you that. He's a fine-looking fella.
We were the studs of the 9-9.
Well, I'm sure studs is a bit of a... Oh, my God. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but...
Meow.
No, that is not what I was going to say. But honestly, yeah, meow. No offense, guys, but what the hell happened to you?
Are you body shaming us?
No, I'm personality shaming you. You were so alert and cool and job doing.
We're not done with Dirk Blocker? Is that where we end our talk on the actors?
Yeah, I'm talking about Dirk Blocker for eternity now.
Okay, so this is now a Brooklyn Nine-Nine podcast.
Basically.
Toy. Nice. Nice. Noise. Noise. A noise.
Noise.
Noise. Toy. Noise. Noise.
Noise.
Noise. Toy.
Wait a minute. This isn't the championship cummerbund. This is some common cummerbund. And you're not Cheddar. You're just some common bitch.
His first name's Dennis. Dennis Dirk Blocker.
Oh, I didn't know that. How about
Me
that?
neither. I guess he goes by his middle name. This is on Wikipedia.
Okay.
Dennis Dirk Blocker, born July 31st, 1957, is an American actor. His first regular TV role on Bob Black Sheep,
Okay.
1976 to 1978, playing pilot Jerry Bragg. From 2013 to 2021, he starred as Detective Michael Hitchcock
There you go.
on the Fox/NBC comedy series Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Born in Los Angeles, California, he is the son of an actor, Dan Blocker, and Dolphia, I don't know how to pronounce that. Dolphia Lee Blocker.
Nay Parker, meaning that's her maiden name.
Okay, May Parker. His brother is producer David Blocker.
How about that?
Yeah.
So his dad is Dan Blocker, who played Hoss Cartwright on a TV show called Bonanza. I know you don't, but a lot of people do. It was a pretty big freaking show. So yeah, he's you now know that Hitchcock is a Nepo baby. So
I picture it. As his role as Detective Hitchcock on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you can picture him like laying in a pile of money saying something like really
I'm
weird.
a Nepo baby.
Hitchcock, why do you have your shirt off?
Can't spill food on your shirt if you're not wearing one.
Yeah, that's what he would say. And then to, like, Rosa, he would say, like, ain't it sexy or something? He would.
Eyes up here, Peralta.
Really, he is, like, the flirt that no one likes.
Hitchcock is very handsome.
Well, thank you, Boyle.
I love him.
Except for Scully.
How dare you, Diaz?
And I'm fairly certain that he wins the heist in the final episode. If I'm not mistaken, Hitchcock's the winner, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well,
and even Jake
it didn't
is
feel right.
That's what Jake said.
Even Hitchcock said it didn't feel like.
All right.
Like right.
We have time for one more question.
No.
Nope, absolutely not. We're done.
Smart. He was not tasteful.
E-Buzz. Let's talk about E-Buzz before we end talking about actors. E-Buzz is the dog.
No! No, get down.
I don't see them listed, so I don't know what E-Buzz's actual name is, the dog.
Maybe it's actually E-Buzz.
Well, E-Buzz Miller is a character from Saturday Night Live that Dan Aykroyd would play. And this dog was named, the character of the dog was named after E-Buzz. I have to assume, because like that is a very specific name.
Also, I have to assume the dog is dead.
Oh, so I usually say that when we watch a movie and an animal shows up, an old movie.
Maybe it doesn't die now, but it will.
Yeah, that dog is long dead, dude. That is just the lifespan of a dog. Yeah. You know what? If anybody knows E-Buzz's real name, I just cannot find it, which is too bad. I've alluded to a couple things.
Okay.
And there's a third. I'm going to talk about this for a minute, which is who directed this movie. Obviously, the credits say Tobe Hooper directed this movie. Steven Spielberg produced it. It is a story by Steven Spielberg. It's a rare written by Steven Spielberg. He doesn't tend to write his movies. There was a point where they went to Stephen King to try and get him to write the screenplay, but he was so busy, he just couldn't do it. That would have been wild.
And very different.
Potentially, yeah. However, would it have been? Because Spielberg obviously exerts a lot of influence.
Yeah. The part 2 would not be the same because he already had a clown movie, Pennywise. So, yeah, he did.
It didn't exist, I don't believe, in
not Pennywise,
82.
It.
Yeah, I don't think it existed in 82
But
yet.
he went on to make a movie about a clown.
Well, clowns are just inherently scary for people.
And then that clown was also Mr. Something, which was Bob Newby's fear.
That's right, in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Just as far as who directed this,
Yeah.
there is a lot of debate, including people who worked on this film. There are people who worked on this film that swear up and down, Tobe Hooper was the director. He told me where to go. He set up blocking. He set up shots. Tobe Hooper was my director. There are other people who said, well, Tobe Hooper set up some shots, but Spielberg would adjust all the time. Spielberg is really who we took direction from. It really goes back and forth. Even behind the scenes, you have people like Frank Marshall, who is a producer, that will swear up and down it was really Spielberg who directed this. There are other people, prop people, who are like, every direction I ever got came from Tobe Hooper. You can read up on it and you can take from it what you want. Spielberg was directing E.T. at the time. He had contracts that said he was not able to do another film while he was doing E.T. There was also an impending director's strike, so there's belief that he was trying to fast track this movie so that the strike didn't affect it. He made comments in the LA Times that made it sound like Spielberg directed it. The music was not John Williams. It's one of the rare times that Spielberg doesn't use Williams because Williams was busy doing E.T. I have no earthly idea. I just know that when you watch this movie, it reeks of in a good way, of a Steven Spielberg movie. So is that just his influence as a producer? Maybe. I just know this is a really good movie. One of the things I wanted to talk about was the curse, which we've kind of already addressed. So I'm not going to get further into it.
Okay.
But I do want to talk about this. This is not really part of the curse, but it is creepy AF, which is this. When JoBeth Williams' character, one of her fears, because they're putting in the pool, is that Carol Ann could fall in that pool before it's filled with water. Now, I'm assuming Carol Ann could swim then, because I'd be just as fearful if there was water. But she has a conversation with her husband, Steven, while they're smoking pot.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
No.
Yeah. You're young and innocent, and I love it. So they have a conversation, and we find that he was an Olympic diver, or he was a competitive diver.
Yeah.
He probably never became an Olympic diver, but he had once been a diver, and he's speaking to diving, and he says it's not a far fall.
He's old.
He's old. When they cannot find Carol Ann, and they look everywhere, it hits her that, oh my God, the pool. And that's when Steven runs out and jumps into the pool that's got water because it's been raining so much. And he's searching around. He goes under a few times because he's basically looking to see if Carol Ann has drowned. Yeah. And then he says, oh, thank God, because he doesn't find her. And that's when Robbie starts yelling, Mom, Mom, Mom. And she goes in and she hears Carol Ann's voice and just assumes she's in the room. And then she's in the TV. All that said, the end of the movie, after Carol Ann is extracted from the upside down or other side.
Sure.
Whatever you want to call it.
Let's call it the upside down.
The other side down.
Sure.
When she's outside, she slips into the pool. And when she's in the pool, we know that the cemetery was moved. Yeah. We don't know the bodies are still there. This is where we start to find, because skeletons start coming out. And I turned to you and I said, Kit, do you think those are real skeletons? And you immediately said...
No.
Yeah, of course not, because that would be absolutely disgusting, kind of unethical.
Yeah, and they could have died from diseases that are still carried in their bones.
Maybe.
Bone cancer.
Your face of how confident you were. Probably not. I mean, unless they had just died, which these
I don't know. You know how they brought back the dire wolf? Some of that was 78,000 years old. The DNA was 78,000 years old.
Okay, TikTok. I'll take your word for it.
Actually, that's science, bud. I learned that in science class.
All right. Well, my point is they were real skeletons that were used in the film. Maybe. Yeah.
What do you mean?
So here's the thing. Once a good story gets out there, people kind of lock on to it.
Yeah, and expand.
And absolutely expand. It's a yes-end world, and everyone's to add a little bit of their end. So JoBeth Williams allegedly found out after filming that these were real.
Yeah.
There are other people who swear up and down, these were 100% not real. We made them. There are other people in the props department that say, no, man, I got these from a lab in Indiana. They were real skeletons. There is a lot of conjecture and argument whether they are real skeletons or not. I am going to say, in my opinion, that they are probably real skeletons.
I think they're real, but I think it would have been more ethical to just get a piece of plastic and not human.
Yeah. So now the way they're done, they're mass produced. We can buy them at Target. They're not very expensive. That is not the way things were in 1982. So to make them, it was expensive. It was expensive to make them. They would actually make them from a kind of a rubber. Plastic wasn't in 1982, wasn't what it is in 2025, where most of us are comprised of plastic. Like we literally have plastic within us when we're born now.
Well,
that is true, dude. You want to talk science? That's science. It's messed up.
Although there are some things like you can make biodegradable spoons, forks, knives.
Yes, you can.
Really anything biodegradable with corn.
Yes.
Also, fun fact, did y'all know how much items use corn? Batteries, baby diapers, I think tires?
Probably. This is our new corn podcast.
Corn.
I don't know why I said podcast. There's a musical about corn. Did you know that?
No.
It's called Shucked. I think you would probably love it. We're going to get to musicals when we get to watch, read, play, listen. I have zero doubt about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so were they real skeletons? Do your own research. Maybe. Snopes says yes, they were, but then they go on to link articles that specifically say no, they were not. So there's some people who believe yes, they were. There are some people who believe no, there were not. One little factoid that is true is Heather O'Rourke, who played Carol Ann, kept those goldfish after filming.
Good for her.
Yeah. I would like to watch the movie again because I have a theory that those goldfish brought about all of the problems in the movie because they did not have any haunting issues until those two goldfish came in. I'd like to think they are Satan. Just want to throw out my own conspiracy theory. What is the body count of this movie? Who dies in this movie?
Like not counting the skeletons.
Not counting them because they're already dead.
Okay.
There's only one death in this movie. Who was it?
It's the bird.
It's the bird. It's Tweety. Tweety is the only death on camera in this movie. And
no.
Oh, Tweety.
I'm not gonna say the next part.
Yeah.
Couldn't you have waited till school?
Yeah, I think she was going to sneak out Tweety and then bring in another bird. Although, other than Carol Ann, none of those kids gave a crap. Dana didn't care at all. Robbie wanted to know if they could dig it up in a while and check out its bones.
Yeah.
Little did he know.
Carol Ann was, they already dug it up.
Well, that's it. Robbie's a truth seeker. Everything he says comes to be.
Yeah. The tree is alive. He knows I'm here.
Yep, absolutely. Came to be. When he said, you can tie a rope to me and I will go to the other side. It was like a kid fascinated. They did that. Like his mom does. So Robbie's, maybe listen to
Robbie's
kids.
Satan.
Oh, so Robbie is part goldfish. Kid, was Poltergeist on the 1001 movies you must see before you die, edited by Steven Schneider?
Yes.
It is. Yes, correct. This movie on IMDb has a 7.3 out of 10 rating, and Common Sense Media says it is appropriate for 13 and up. How old are you, Kit?
11.
You
I'm
almost said
turning 12.
Turning 12 in 6 months, bro. So for a year and 6 months, I'm still a bad parent. So listen, dude, we have not ranked movies.
In a while.
We don't have to do it here. I would like to do it soon, but I do want to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being perfect, 1 being a waste of your time, where do you put Poltergeist?
It obviously wasn't perfect, so it's definitely not a 10, 9, or 8.
Okay.
And it wasn't a waste of my time, so it's not anywhere below 4. So I'm going to say it's a 6.
A solid 6, okay?
Yeah, solid 6. I loved it, but it really had no thing to be scared of because you never really see the thing to be scared. Well, except for the devil, but
Yeah.
they never really acknowledge that that's the devil.
And they never say devil; they call him the beast.
Yeah.
So
you really don't know what to be scared of. So in horror, that's not that great, but in general, it was a solid movie. Like effects,
very 1982.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought they were great. The world has changed. And when we first turned this movie on, Mommy and I spent a lot of time talking to you about the end of the night with TV and how the national anthem would play. And then TV would go to static. And it's a very tough thing for you to understand, seeing as literally right now you could go watch anything you want to watch.
Yeah, like 5 a.m. or like 3 a.m. I don't care. I'm watching Ghostbusters.
You could do that. Yeah, absolutely. You could watch.
You might have to pay for it, but...
No, we have Ghostbusters.
I mean, but other things. Like
Yeah.
Poltergeist, we had to pay for.
We rented it. Yeah, you're right. Before we wrap this part up, did you see similarities between this movie, because the Duffer Brothers are fans, between this movie and Stranger Things?
Yes.
Anything specific jump out at you?
The bike.
Absolutely, yeah.
The 4 kids playing with the cars. They were like a group of kids playing together.
The friends, yep.
The tree kind of coming real. Oh, Carol Ann, like, not going missing, but like kind of...
Yeah.
People thought she was sick. They thought Will Byers was sick, but he was really in a different dimension.
Yeah, and that was... She's in the... They call it the other side.
She's in a TV.
She's not in the TV. She can communicate through the TV. But Will was able to communicate through the lights.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a very good similarity. The Upside Down and the Other Side are similar. They even talk about, they call it inner space, because they say she could be in outer space, and the guy kind of poo-poos that idea, and then he says, we're inner space, and that's what they kind of lock into. And that's essentially what this is. It's like another dimension within this world, and that's what Stranger Things did. One of the things I really liked that's very reminiscent of Stranger Things Season 4 is the rope. And we talked about that. When Eddie climbs up the rope and ultimately severs that rope to protect Dustin and everybody else, that's so similar to what they do, where they throw the rope through the closet and it comes out downstairs in the living room. Yeah, I thought this was great. I don't really rank the movies, you do, but I definitely think it's probably better than a 6.
You knew what the screen static was like, so it was more scary for you as a kid.
It was as a kid. It was not that scary. This movie was originally rated R, and Spielberg and Hooper and everyone involved were like, "This movie."
Whenever I hear Hooper, I think of Hooper from Jaws.
Yeah, Matt Hooper.
Yeah. Hooper.
They wanted this movie to be PG because they knew E.T. was going to be PG, and ultimately Spielberg wanted to have double features where these movies could play together. When E.T. came out a couple months after Poltergeist, or actually I think it was only a couple weeks after Poltergeist, they were calling it the Summer of Spielberg because these were two, if not Steven Spielberg directed, Steven Spielberg produced, and feeling very much like Steven Spielberg movies. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, The Perfect 10 Podcast. That's 1010, The Perfect 10 Podcast. If you want to write to us, you can write to us at Perfect10 The Podcast. That's Perfect10, TEN, The Podcast at gmail.com. All right, Kit. Watch, read, play, listen. Last month, it was all one musical, Descendants, because you were so absorbed with it, doing it for your school. I would argue this month
everything is the same, because watching Hamilton, reading Hamilton, playing Hamilton,
nonstop,
listening to Hamilton.
Yeah.
Here are my reasons. Watching Hamilton, that's just like watching the film.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to say that there are so many things that aren't true in Hamilton and that aren't really correct.
Yeah.
Like, Angelica was never confirmed to love Hamilton.
Right.
Also, she had a husband before she met Hamilton.
For like 3 years.
Yeah. Husband of 3 years before she even met Hamilton.
Do you know what fiction means?
It's fake.
Fake. So
this is historical fiction.
Correct.
Where it has some real things
Yes,
like
a lot of real
Battle of Yorktown. All the dates are real,
Yep.
but some of it is like fake to amp it up a little.
What is your goal with Hamilton?
Okay, I already have almost all of it memorized.
Yeah.
There are just some songs like Burn. It's a shorter song, so good. It really doesn't have a music to go along with, so you have to just know the lyrics. By the end of the summer, I'm going to have it all memorized.
I love it. And then you're going to perform it.
Yeah.
Where?
No.
Oh. I thought a rooftop on Abbey Road or something.
No. What?
I don't know. It wasn't even Abbey Road.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
You were there. I'm talking about Apple Studios.
Okay, shh. I am writing a 400-page book about the American Revolution and Hamilton.
That is ambitious.
Like in the next 8 years.
Not as ambitious all of a sudden.
It was going to be 4 years, but
Listen, I'm busy. I'm
I
a
can't
busy
write
lady.
a 400-page book in 4 years.
100 pages a year? You could easily do that. It's pretty easy.
Takes me about a month to write 10 pages.
That would be 120 pages. You're fine.
Too much.
Okay, now you're
2 months. Also, I'm just saying school days. If I.
Oh yeah, you take the summers off.
Anyways.
Who's your favorite character in Hamilton?
Thomas Jefferson.
Awesome. Daveed Diggs.
Yeah,
is so
really,
good.
just Daveed Diggs' characters are just so. He really had a lot of room to like do not improv. I think you can't improv
No way.
in a Broadway show.
Not
That
this
would get
one.
you fired. But like he really had room to explore with his character.
Yep.
And like Thomas Jefferson obviously wasn't like dancing when he came back from France.
We don't know. We weren't there.
His character is just really great. Real quick, let me do read. My dad printed out the entire Hamilton script.
That might be illegal, so I didn't, but go on.
It's in parentheses, so it's fine. And now I have a big book.
Yep.
So I have the script of Hamilton, so it's amazing. Hamilton.
Yeah, it's a play.
I've been
You've
playing,
playing it.
yeah, I've been playing trivias on YouTube.
Yep,
of
we do that a
Hamilton.
lot. It's so good. And then listen, every time we get in the car, what do you say to me?
Can you play Hamilton?
Yeah, you say, can you turn off Real Big Fish?
Yeah, I don't like that.
You're the worst child ever. I have been watching, much to Mommy's dismay, Righteous Gemstones, because I wanted to watch the 4th season and I never finished all of the 3rd, so I figured, well, I might as well go back to season 1 and start all over again. And I'm almost done. Let me ask you this. With Watch, Read, Play, and Listen, was there anything else you wanted to add to Listen other than Hamilton?
Yes. Last night, like as we're recording, I went to see OK Go, which amazing band.
So good.
Perfect. And the opening performance was LAX's, which is so good. So I got an OK Go shirt. We paid for that.
No, we didn't. Oh, the OK Go. Yes,
Yeah,
we did. I'm
and
sorry.
then someone already had paid for the LAX's shirt, which they said, I'll pay for this shirt and give it to someone young.
Yeah.
And I'm young, and I bought a shirt, so...
We tried to
Yeah.
buy it, and the bass player for the LAXs told us that. She said, somebody already paid for this, and said, give it to someone young. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
So we bought an album.
Yeah, a record. Signed, by the way.
They signed it.
Signed
Yep.
by them. I also got a signed drumstick that was used, like...
The drummer was sitting there as
used
well.
it.
And she said, hey, you want a drumstick?
Yeah. She signed it and gave me her drumstick that she used.
Yeah, you have great luck. You also caught a balloon. Well, actually, the gentleman
Yeah.
in front of us caught a balloon and gave it
Yeah,
to you.
yeah.
So, what a great night. OK Go is awesome. LAXs are awesome. Listen to both
Yeah.
of them.
Also, Rookie's over, so I'm sad.
Good way, a good ending. So, Kit, next month, July,
Yeah.
do we have a movie in mind? I should have said at the beginning of this, Mommy picked this movie.
Yeah.
We used a magic 8 ball to determine, but this was Mommy's pick. We were going to watch it just outright, and then you were about to go away on a school trip. And I was like, let's watch it real fast. And Mommy was the one who said, no, she's about to go away and sleep, out in the wilderness and in tents and stuff. You can't have the kid watch a horror movie.
Surrounded by trees.
It's right. And probably, let's be honest, real skeletons buried in the grounds out there. You don't know.
Honestly, probably. It was like a wooden frame, but it was a tent, and it didn't really have lighting. So we had to bring our own flashlights, and my lantern didn't really do anything because for the first 2 days, it was raining. So, yeah.
Hitchcock still sucks.
Follow LAXs. Bye.